Hi guys, how's it going? Planet X throws in $5 super chat. That is awesome. Deep Space Nine, the best Star Trek show ever made. I would, well, besides TOS, I would agree. Deep Space Nine is my second favorite show. Out of everything that's not TOS, Deep Space Nine is the favorite. So, full disclosure, I was going to do this in the ready room. I was going to have DS9 computer displays behind me, but something came up and I'm not going to be doing it in the ready room. So, I'm in here, all unimpressive like. So hopefully that's fine with you guys. DS9 is the best series on Prime Universe. I cannot wait. Or we're just going to be discussing Deep Space Nine. Things you liked about it, things I liked about it. So there's no actual flashiness going on here. Me and Samuel will be doing a live this week sometime talking about the 30th anniversary of Deep Space Nine, which might have some visuals and stuff. But this one unfortunately won't, just because it's just to sit down, hang out with me. So, but yeah, Hezraz DS9 is thumbs up love. Trekyards is here. Chuck, TNG fanatic, watching DS9 now. Actually, well, which episode you watching? Talk about that. No, I mean DS9. Full disclosure, I did not watch all of DS9 until I met Sylvia. It was one of her favorite shows. So, and I would always catch it on TV, and I'd always catch the same stupid episodes because there's a lot of dumb episodes of DS9 that aren't that great. So I kind of wrote it off as a show that I wasn't really that interested in. And finally did watch it all with Sylvia, and now I absolutely love it. It is the best Trek, in my opinion, besides TOS. So, Devin says, I named my daughter Esri. Well, there you go. A lot of great episodes to pick from, yes, but Pale Moonlight is the best episode, for sure. Possibly one of the best episodes of Star Trek. Although not very Star Trek-y themed. My facial hair looks weird in this light. It looks like really long over here and really short over here, and it's not. Oh my goodness. Weird. Ozzy, The Way of the Warrior, parts 1 and 2 episode is the best. I would disagree with you, but that's kind of where it gets good, for sure. DS9 was underrated, or at least underappreciated. Odo and Quark were my faves. I miss Renee, rest in peace. Yes. Their dynamic was pretty awesome. It goes back to the McCoy and Spock dynamic, or the Pulaski and Data that they tried to do. But yeah, they were pretty great. Brent's Video Journal. I can't believe it's been 30 years ago that DS9 came out. I know, right? Planet X Duet is one of the best episodes after In the Pale Moonlight, of course. Everybody mentions Duet. I haven't watched it in a while. I'm not going to comment on it. Lysander says, I think what I like about DS9 was the Garrick and Quark, or Quark with Bashir talks, or Garrick with Bashir talks. Yes. Garrick was one of the best characters for sure. We needed more Garrick in our lives. We really did. But honestly, pretty great. Yeah. Ducat. By the way, I'd like to thank Matt Boardman for making the thumbnail for today's live. A very good thumbnail. I wanted to have me in Cardassian gear on like a Cardassian terminal and have it just be called Attention Trekyards Workers. But anyway, here we are. Ozzy, Worf joined the crew that season after Deanna crashed the saucer drive on the planet. He did indeed. Chuck A. I've talked to 10 DS9 celebrities at Star Trek Las Vegas and other shows. Rest in peace, Renee, Aaron, and Louise Fletcher. Yes. Nurse Ratchet. Kai Wynn, one of the most despicable characters in all of Star Trek for sure. And just an evil, evil character. Yeah, yeah. Shame about the actress, though. Devin Larson, I feel like the last season was very rushed. Thoughts? Um, it did seem that way, actually, yes. Seems like they had a lot more story to tell, and it's not like Enterprise season 4 where they had to finish everything in one season, where they thought they had more seasons to go. DS9, I think, knew there were going to be 7 seasons, and now that you said that, though, yes, the final season does feel rushed. The final episode particularly feels rushed, with like 5 different endings, or just natural endpoints that it could have ended on. So yeah, I do feel that the last season was rushed. The show could have gone on for another 3-4 years, and been fine. But yeah. DS9 has many great episodes. Absolutely true. And some awful episodes. Maybe not some awful. There's one awful episode. Even it's not that bad. And that's the Come Along Home episode. Do you think that Bashir and Dax would have made a better couple than Dax and Worf? Jadzia with Bashir? That's tough. I don't know. Honestly, I think Worf was the perfect foil for her. But for Ezri, when she got with Bashir, I thought that was quite appropriate. And I think they make a better couple than Jadzia and Bashir would have. Jadzia was just a little too wild. And I think, well, I was going to say jealousy issues, but Worf was pretty jealous. So it's a good question. It would have been interesting to see Bashir and her have more of a thing going on, for sure. But my child, yes. Gold to Foley. Do you think that... Oh, I read that one already. Trek or not, name an episode that's not the best nor the worst, but stands out for you in another way for its uniqueness. Oh, good God. First of all, I don't know all the episode names, first of all. For its uniqueness. One of the ones that I absolutely love is... It's not the best, but you said it's not the best, it's not the worst. This one I think is one of the best of DS9, and that's the one with where Bashir and O'Brien go inside Sloane's mind while he's dying. I thought that was such an interesting premise and so well done. Kind of like a holodeck episode, but a little bit different and more dangerous. And it's interesting to think about what the brain is like while it's dying, and how that would translate. And you see different facets of Sloane in there as he knows he's dying. That's one of the best in my opinion. So which is one of the best, not the worst, but an interesting premise. I'll have to think about that one. I don't have an easy answer for you, Trek or not. They could still make a movie, I think. I also think they could bring back Jadzia. They could bring back Jadzia, yes, in some form. Could they make a movie without Cisco? Because unfortunately, Avery Brooks, I don't think, is acting. So, Worf sleeps on the Defiant with his Klingon operas. Well, yeah, kind of like his own little bachelor pad. Good tea, nice house. Throws in $2. What in the Alamarine is going on over here? That's good. Deep Space Nine had 2 of the best antagonists ever, Dukat and Win Adami. Both amazing actors. Yeah. I think... It's hard to say who was the more psychotic villain, whether it was Goldie Cott or Kai Wynn. Kai Wynn, she knew she was what she was doing, and she knew that with the "my child" thing and just putting that smiley face, it just infuriates people. Goldie Cott, I don't really know if he realized how insane he was, because he literally thought or justified what he did by saying that he was doing what was best. It could have been a lot worse for the Bajoran people if he hadn't stepped in. So that makes him extremely dangerous. But I think Kai Wynn's more dangerous because she knows. And that last season with the whole Angel, or whatever the fuck Goldie Cott's name was, with the love affair between him and Kai Wynn was just disgusting and gross. And there's no way that she wouldn't have known that that was Goldie Cott. I'm sorry. But ugh. It's one of the things I don't like about the last season. Watching Paradise Lost on DS9, Cisco Dad's Restaurant, Brock Peters. Oh yes, where he refuses to get the blood test to see if he's a changeling, which I never understood. Just take the fucking blood test. It's that simple. If you're not a changeling, just take the blood test. You're fine. Well, it's not that. That's not the point. I shouldn't have to be forced to do a thing. Blah, blah, blah. Well, then, fucking, it just. Anyway, it's frustrating to me. Bashir and Seven would have made a good couple. Tim McCaffrey sounded her voice. That's a good example of an episode that it's not the best, definitely not the worst, but had a very interesting premise. So that's a good call out for sure. Although I think that ranks up as one of the best Deep Space Nine episodes, at least in the top maybe 20, possibly. But yeah, good call out there. The Ferengi episodes stood out on Ferenginar. We never saw it before, yes, where they have like 150 different words for rain. And Marauder Mo, his action figures. Mark Alamo is great. Met him at 2 LA department stores while DS9 was in its 6th season. Ooh, very cool. Along with the pugs, yes. Sean says DS9 is my favorite of old Trek. Strange New Worlds of New Trek. Mr. Captain 93, let's order a root beer at Quark's. It's like the Federation, you know. The DS9 TNG crossover episode was cool as well. Hey, Generation Productions, how's it going? Birthright, although the Worf element's not great. Oh, the Birthright, yes, that's the crossover. Yeah, it's got some issues for sure with the Worf thing, but I mean, Mark Lawrence, $5. I knew there was a reason I was craving a root beer. Shattered Mirror was good. One of the Mirror Universe episodes. Yes, indeed. Worf is an awesome guy, but sort of a shitty father. But I still love Worf. Oh, Worf's an absolute shitty father. Eric Martin Garrick is my favorite character. A study in shades of gray. Would you say there's 50 of those shades? How could we forget Way of the Warrior? That was mentioned earlier, but yes, that's kind of, I think where DS9 really kicks off and really gets good. The joint fleet attack on the Federation world was brilliantly executed. It told us both the relationship between Garrick and his father. It sure surprised me. Yeah, but you're never sure if that's even the truth. The relationship between them. You're never sure what to believe with Garrick. House of Quark, best episode. Yes. Him fighting with the Batlath with the control thing. And he breaks it off. The HD remaster of Birthright is sick. Mr. Captain 93, let's acknowledge the coolness of Cisco. I mean, he punched Q. Yeah. I find it a little bit shitty that he was actually like part non-corporeal being the entire time. Like the whole thing with his mother meeting his father and that being the wormhole aliens, I thought was kind of silly. The religious aspects of DS9 really kind of bothered me a lot, and I don't give a flying fuck about the Bajorans, honestly. Some of the worst episodes were Bajoran focused or Bajoran centric, in my opinion. But the religious undertones, I get why they did it, and yeah, it's a very good case for religion being stacked up against aliens, essentially, and how that's you know can be perceived. I thought that was very well handled for sure, but honestly, the whole Cisco was always kind of more than a man thing. I don't know how I feel about that. I still don't know how I feel about that. Planet X. Bashir and O'Brien's friendship rival Data and Geordi's friendship. I love that part about both shows. Yeah, Bashir and O'Brien were awesome, and they actually kind of remind me of me and Samuel. I'm very much like O'Brien, and Bashir is very much like Samuel, and it's kind of funny. I started out with watching that show not liking Bashir, but quickly he became one of my favorite characters, and kind of relatable, honestly. But O'Brien is definitely me, 100%, except for the choice of wife. I would never have ever picked Keiko. But great series, lousy finale. That's usually the way it goes. Good Tea Nice House. I saw an interview with Alexander Siddig after Renee passed, and he said they never really spoke often or shared any screen time together, so they really didn't know him well. There was tension. Well, that's sad. Trials and Tribulations, one of the best. Oh, for sure. But that's the best for different reasons. It's tying in the whole franchise thing and the TOS aspect. So, yeah. Worf wants prune juice. Yes. Eric Martin. I also like the episode where the three legitimate Klingons, or with the three legacy Klingons and Dax. Yes, the Dahar Masters. It's also very great to have all those actors back for that. Empok Nora, another good one. Trek or not, there's a running theory as well that Garrick faked the claustrophobia to get Ezri to stay as his friend. Bashir had eyes on her. Yeah, there's a lot of theories. I don't think he faked his claustrophobia. I really don't. Terrence Childs. I like when Wolf, you mean Worf, joins the show. That was great when Wolf joined the cast. Yes, that's when the show actually got really good. So, Captain Casey Stewart. One of my favorite episodes is Jem Hadar with the USS Odyssey. Wow, that Odyssey goes down. Who'd have thought? All it takes is one bug ship to the secondary hull to destroy Galaxy class. But there you go. Wayland Yutani never watched beyond season 2 of Deep Space Nine as a kid, so I rewatched it all a few months ago. What'd you think? Because season 1 and 2 are the worst seasons. Season 3 where it starts to get good, and we have the Warrior after that. It gets really good. DS9 was one of the very best Star Trek series ever made. Yep, I totally agree. Terrence Childs, when the gym had Josh showed up. When the gym had Josh showed up, everything really took off. They just went to war with these people. Oh, the Jem'Hadar, yes. The day I finished, it was the day Louise Fletcher died, which was kind of strange. Ooh, that's weird. Absolutely weird. I love the baseball episode. Gabriel Bell episodes were good too. I didn't like the Gabriel Bell episodes. Past tense. Wasn't a fan of those, honestly. But Take Me Out to the Holodeck, or Take Me Out to the Holosuite, the baseball one. Epically good episode, yeah. Trials and tribulations, I rest my case. Well, yeah, but the baseball episode shows that Vulcans can be as big of assholes as Romulans. The Vulcan captain was a dick. Yes, absolutely. It's a fake. Chuck A. I recently visited the DS9 baseball stadium in Loyola Marymount in LA, where Take Me Out to the Hollow Suite was filmed. Looked the same still. That's cool. Birth defect. Claustrophobia. Hey, I never even looked at another guy like that. What is that from again? Trek or not, I like the reckoning with Cisco and the tablet. Yeah, that's another great one where he deciphers that tablet and look at the reflection of the painting and everything. Yeah. Planet X, $5. Thank you for all the super chats, guys. Much appreciated. Hit that like button. We're at 29 likes with 43 people here, so hit that like button. Anyway, Planet X says, I love Damara's character arc. It was such a good example of redemption. I wish they would have explored it in more detail. Yeah, Damar was a fantastic character, going from basically an alcoholic to turning the tide, if you will, realizing that, yeah, that in particular felt very rushed in the last season. I wish that was explored more, as you just said. I think that would have been awesome. However, it was also done very well the way they did it. But I wish it did have a little bit more time to marinate, for sure. Eric Martin, $5. Finished one spreadsheet and starting another. Too much fun for one guy, folks. Oh, Eric, sorry to hear that. The episode Defiant with Tom Riker. Yeah, that's another great one. Rips off his sideburns. Hezraz, DS9 was early for its time, but now it's great and getting its due. DS9 is my number 2, just barely below TNG. Also like the Niners baseball episode. Hell yeah. That's my number 2 as well, right behind TOS. Lassender says, who likes the Thomas Riker who stole the Defiant and entered into Cardassian restricted space? I thought that was awesome. That was a great episode. Such a good use and a good callback to a TNG episode. A good use of a character. The image quality of DS9 is really poor, especially the early seasons. I guess it wasn't shot on film like TNG was. It was, though. I believe so, anyway. Eric Martin, I would have liked to see O'Brien and Bashir Holosuite programs. We only ever saw them coming for a beer. That was part of the joke, though. Their Alamo, their Battle of Britain. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that as well. Then exactly the kind of holodeck programs I would probably be running. Terrence Childs, I can't believe they destroyed a Galaxy-class ship. That was an episode. Adding the Defiant was a great move. It was, although I've never really been a fan of the Defiant. I'm not a big fan of the design, but definitely did help the show for sure. It was kind of dumb when Cisco goes in place of Bell. They shouldn't replace historical figures. They had no choice in that instance, though. So I did like that aspect of it. Another one of my favorite episodes is Little Green Men. That's a great episode. The time travel back to the 50s. It's funny, the general in that one is the same. He plays one of the hippies, the space hippies, in Way to Eden from TOS. So he played both ends of the spectrum, a space hippie and a 4-star or 5-star general. So The Visitor is still the best episode of the series. The Visitor. Remind me what that one is. I feel like I should know this, obviously, but thinking the one with the muse, but that's not it. Which one was The Visitor? Chuck A, member for 33 months. Wow, at the rank of captain. Happy New Year to Stuart and Samuel. Good night, everyone. Good night, Chuck, and Happy New Year to all you guys as well. TMNT Casey Jones was the claustrophobia quote. Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. Moogie. Mr. Captain 93, hard to believe 30 years. I still can't remember. I still remember when it aired. Me too. Me too. Trekyards, do you think the Breen are clones? Be funny if they were all soon clones. I mean, it's a possibility. I want to learn more about the Breen. I want to see what they look like. I know that part of the gestalt of them is the fact, I wouldn't actually say the Breen have any kind of gestalt. That's a misuse of that word. But is not knowing what they look like, not knowing much about them. Kind of like not knowing what the name of Yoda's species is. If it's ever answered, it'd be just being like, okay. There's a Star Trek novel where Sarek has to take the place of Surak because they accidentally led to Sarek's death and have to keep the timeline intact. Sure, they got that episode from the Bell episode. Yeah, and sounds like perfect fodder for a book. Generation Productions, DS9 was just the days of our lives for Trek fans. All that drama and more crew-based and less exploration. That's fine. Character development is a good thing. I hated DS9 as a kid besides Dax, but now I think it's the best of Trek. I'm the same way. When I was younger, I didn't like it. Hey, Donnie. I would want to see if Thomas Riker actually survived after the Dominion War. Yeah, I would too. And he's perfect comeback for like Lower Decks or something like that. I think that would be fantastic to see that character come back. Planet X. The fact that they destroyed a Galaxy-class ship was integral to the plot. It showed how much of a threat the Dominion was. Exactly. I revived the DS9 pilot movie on Paramount Plus last afternoon. Relived. Gotcha. Actually prefer TOS Enterprise Defiant over the DS9 Defiant. Yes. Broken Speaker, $2. Wow, 30 years. I feel old now. Seems like yesterday. It does. Yeah, the best of DS9 was Terry Farrell, Jadzia Dax. Much love for her. Yeah, she was great. It's a shame what happened to her with her character getting killed because of disputes behind the scenes. The Martian episode was great. Quark is like, oh my god, the hookahs were actually this dumb. The humans were actually this dumb, yes. Dustin D, I wonder if we could be able to attract the Defiant class ship on the... I wonder if it could be able to attack a Defiant class ship on the of the Nebula pod at T. I wonder if you could be able to attach a Defiant class ship on the Nebula pod attachment point. Probably not. Those well, the attachment point's not super big, but size-wise, I don't think it would work. Colin Barrett and all those memorable jokes from Morn. Oh, how we laughed. Morn never shut up, so. Let's do DS9 trivia. Cap seems foggy tonight. I am foggy tonight. And it's so much fun when you can't remember stuff. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I'm not going to get into why I'm kind of off tonight. So, anyway, regardless. Nog had a great character arc as well. Nog's character arc was fantastic. Wolf 359 sequence in Emissary is great. That's a great way to kick off a series for sure, yes. Breen was my favorite add-on species of DS9. DS9 is my number 3 Golden Age and overall Star Trek show. Great score and theme tune, though. Another notable episode of the top of my head. What about the episode where the Iconian Gateway, continuation from TNG, where the founders were afraid of Jem'Hadar was going to take over? Yeah, I don't know what the episode title of that one is. But I just get so sick of hearing the Iconians. Everybody wants the Iconians to come back. It's like, I don't care. The Visitor was when Cisco phases through time while Jake grows older. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, that's good. I see why people think that's good. But it goes back to my argument that City on the Edge of Forever and the Inner Light are not the best episodes of their respective series. That's the same kind of story. It's fantastic. It's awesome sci-fi. Doesn't need to be Star Trek. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And then, yeah, and then Cisco goes on and shits all over it. Like Jake was willing to sacrifice his life, not be happy in his life to get his dad back, and then basically the end of the series is Cisco going, "Hey, I'm going to the end of the street to grab some cigarettes and some milk. I'll be back." Never comes back with a pregnant wife, and just says fuck off to his kid. Yes, he's non-corporeal. Yes, he's non-linear. He can come back whenever, but just seems like such a shitty fucking way to end. Can we acknowledge how great DS9 looked in Lower Deck? Oh yes, for sure. I remember when DS9 first aired, I always hated back when you would miss an episode. There was no way to go back and watch it unless you scheduled your VCR to record it. The good old days. DS9 was a very slow burn for me to get into, but crossover in season 2 was hooked. It's my second favorite Trek series after TOS. Right there with you, man. Some random crazy joke thought. The Breen are just all these clones that have been exiled from communities. Romulan clones, Vulcan clones, human clones, etc. Just pissed off all the time. Circle in all of the pylons. Keep circling. Do you remember Space Above and Beyond? I do, but I never watched it. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't yet. I've had to watch it, so. Seth Card. My problem with DS9 is the bad episodes are not memorable, but there are so many of them. Yeah, there's a lot of episodes like that where it's like there's nothing memorable that really stands out, unfortunately. But the good episodes more than make up for the bad ones, I think. In the Cards is a fun episode when Jake and Nog end up on Jem'Hadar's ship trying to get the baseball card for Cisco. Yep. For the Great Material Continuum, where Nog has to get his desk back. Self-sealing stem bolts. That would make a funny short, though. Would the Breen take off their helmets and you just have random clones of various famous Star Trek characters? And they're all Soongs. They're all just Brent Spiner. Trek or not, and him going nuts until he gets a better blood wine at the end. Yeah. Mr. Captain 93, how would Cisco have dealt with Khan if he had found the Botany Bay instead of Kirk? That's a fucking great question. That's a good what if. I don't know, man. Cisco would have annihilated Khan, I think. Watching that Ambassador class in the Wolf 359 sequence do the swift attack run on the Borg cube was pretty cool. I kind of like that the Breen have some huge history with the Romulans, like multiple wars. Never turn your back on a Breen. Trials and Tribulations was one of my favorite episodes. Well, yes. It's one of the best episodes of all Trek, in my opinion, because it's a kind of a crossover episode, but it's such a love letter to the entire Gestalt, which is Star Trek. There, that's perfect use of the word Gestalt. To be fair, when creatures who can see all of time tell you it's a bad idea to get married, perhaps you should listen. True, but at the same time, screw them. I'm going to do what I want to do. Captain Casey Stewart, great older Jake episode. Then Cisco leaves Jake at the end of DS9. Great dad. Exactly my thoughts. Daddy went to the store for some cigarettes. He never came back. Jake to his sister. Just leave Yates with 2 kids out of nowhere. Yep, what a fucking asshole move, eh? And I hate that they did that to his character. Trek or not, Change of Heart was a bit bland, where Dax was injured and Worf sacrificed the missions to save her. At the end, Cisco goes through him. He says he would have done the same thing, but he also says it would be on his permanent record, and because of this incident, you will likely never get your own command. And everybody's like, I want a Captain Worf series. I know there's mitigating circumstances and things that can negate or make up for those things in a permanent file. But anyway, the Tholians need more scene time with their five sexes. Really felt out of place, and I loved it. Speaking of Cisco, what the fuck? His son ended up being Candyman as an old man. It's true. When DS9 came out, I wasn't too much of a fan. At the time, I preferred the shows with the ship as the main character. Today, it did grow on me. Yeah, a lot of people say that, and I was right there with you. It's Stephen Bear supposedly got the idea for the last shot of the series where Kira and Jake were shot from the Visitor episode. Photographer, I don't care what anyone says, Move Along Home was a perfectly fine episode. I just think it would have worked in a later season when Korak was shown to be more empathetic. His groveling doesn't fit season 1. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of... People do give that episode a bad rap, for sure, because not everybody remembers the texture, the contextual nature of it, what the full episode is about. And what's going on outside of the game per se. Same with Threshold from Voyager. A lot of people give it shit, and honestly, the first half of that episode is fucking great. So yeah, better in a later season possibly, but you gotta ditch that fucking song, man. I had to choose between Deep Space Nine and Stargate. I chose Deep Space Nine. Ooh. That is what happens when your dad goes out for cigarettes and never comes back. Or did the milk world steal him? You forgot. A brain never unmasked to a stranger. Otherwise, it would be a death sentence. This is the way. Very Mandalorian of them. I wonder if the Breen are off based from Vulcan and Romulan DNA. I like the episode where Nog lived with Vic. It's on the Paper Moon. It's only a paper moon. That's the name of that episode. The Ferengi episodes are more often than not guilty pleasures for me. Profit motive and family business were a lot of fun, and the later ones introduced us to Brunt, FCA. Once the Dominion would revealed everything after that was great. I saw Candyman before that DS9 episode, and all I could hear was "Be My Victim." I love Tony Todd. Yeah, he also played Kern, Worf's brother. Ermagerd Kern. Not a big fan of the Mirror Universe one, where the Negus goes to the quantum or to the Gamma Quadrant, the Emperor's New Cloak, but most are decent to great. I'm not the hugest fan of the Mirror Universe ones at DS9 either. Trekyards, was it not the episode where Worf attacked the Klingon civilian ship that lost him the command to get them? I get them mixed up. Nope, it was the episode with Jadzia. Because, he had to sacrifice the mission, and Cisco tells him that it's going to be on your permanent record, and you'll likely never get a command as a result of this. So, suck it up, Buttercup. If Worf did get a command, it would have been thanks to Picard having his back. True. Trekyards, to be fair, I don't think Worf was the captain type. I didn't think so either. Dustin D, the only way Worf will get his own ship to command is to buy one. Personally, receive a ship to command. A KDG ship, or the House of KDF ship, I think. Land Defense Force. Meridian, about Jadzia and the planet that phases in and out of her space-time continuum every 50 years is a bore fest, but it did give Jeffrey Combs his first role in Trek. Yeah, that's a fucking awful episode. I absolutely hate that episode. At least Threshold gave us a good joke in Prodigy. Yeah. I was a salamander once. Nothing's worse than General Martog was one of the best things about DS9. Absolutely. J.G. Hertzer was awesome. Such a great character. Alex409, what do you think about the idea of launching a new series set after Picard with the series following a new crew of the Enterprise F? I think no. I don't need to see another Enterprise crew show. Um, as much as it's going to be great to see the F on screen, I don't think. No, I don't need to. I don't need to see that. So I think it'd be fine. It would be a good idea, and I think people would really enjoy the hell out of it. But I personally don't need to see that. So that's kind of my thought. Quark should have gotten a Cheers-esque spin-off. It will be interesting to see Worf and Picard. Oh yes, it will be. And it's not that far away. A month and a half. The bird of prey swinging and decloaking as Dax was deploying mines on the Defiant and smacking a Jem'Hadar fighter on the noggin. Then Martog smiling like a badass was sick. General Martog is a legend. Absolutely. Olivia, oh boy, it's Captain Stewart. This is my first live to be. It's my first live to be to since late last year. It's been a year, guys. I would love to see him get a mention in Discovery. Who, Worf? We're less than 2 years away from September 2024, which marks or makes the Bell Riots two-parter more relevant than ever. Yeah. Sanctuary districts. One of the funniest characters is Brunt, FCA. I don't like the episode where the prisoners keep dying and come back to life, and the first Kai ends up staying on the planet. Yeah, that's fucked up. That felt like very much like a TOS episode, the way that was written and structured. But again, that's during the first season of DS9, where first and second seasons aren't that great, honestly. But that felt very TOS in its approach, and the poor Kai Paka having to stay there. That's awful. I wasn't the biggest fan of that either. So Mirakira and Giorgio make their Mirror episodes worth rewatching. Martog equals best Klingon in Star Trek. Besides Worf. But he's more Starfleet. So yeah, I'd agree. Did you notice that DS9 gave 3 reasons for Federation shields being weak? The first was Romulan plasma, and the second being the energy dampening weapon, and finally the third is Polaron. Yeah. SC Scout Guy, I'm watching Second Sight on Pluto TV right now. I just noticed that the crew of the USS Prometheus were all wearing earlier TNG uniforms. I'm guessing that was easier for the wardrobe department. Probably the reason, yeah. No, Martog gets a mention in Discovery. Oh, Martog get a mention. Yeah, that'd be cool. Trek or not, do you think DS9 used some TOS leftovers after TNG had their share during early seasons? I don't know. See, that's the thing. That episode we just talked about with the Kaya Paka and the prisoners coming back to life, like I said, it feels very TOS. And we know that in season 1 and 2 of TNG, there are some scripts that were supposed to be for Star Trek Phase 2. It's supposed to be the TOS style. And it's just converted to TNG scripts. And you can tell a lot of times because the way the characters kind of do things, you can tell it was meant for like Kirk and Spock and McCoy, but it's been changed. I don't know if one would have survived it long enough to make it to DS9 season 1, but very possibly. It could have been a rough outline of the idea and somebody filled in the blanks, but it does feel like a very TOS structured episode. Martog is the best Klingon. Worf was always too whiny to me. How is Picard going to explain how Worf is captain in rank but no ship of his own to command? I wonder if Admiral will use the little known, seldom used reactivation clause to recall Worf to duty. You can be a captain and not get a ship. Scotty was captain of engineering. He was just his rank was captain, but he was head of the engineering department. Just because you're a captain doesn't mean you get a ship. That you just that's your rank in whatever division speciality you want. You don't get a ship necessarily. So Marine was a bit TOS campy. I disagree. I don't see the Alan Moraine script as being a TOS structured one. My least favorite episodes centered around only the Ferengi. My favorite episodes were all the Mirror Universe episodes. Olivia, hey Cap, did you know Kurtzman came up with the great show by himself? It's the best. It's the Starfleet Academy series. It was all his idea. No one could ever think of it. He's amazing. He is. Whispers may be my favorite Brian episode. The paranoia of a Brian replica who doesn't realize he's a replica and thinks the station is turning against him is very effective and fun. That is a fantastic episode, but it really fucks with my head and makes... That's how I feel when I smoke marijuana. I get super paranoid, and I think that everybody is being sarcastic, and I can't believe anything anybody says, and I think I'm the worst person ever. So I get really paranoid when I smoke weed, and that episode kind of exemplifies how I feel when I'm on having a bad trip. So, Captain, did you hear the new DC news? Ezra Miller is staying on as Flash. In my opinion, that is a great choice because Ezra Flash can connect the events of the Flash movie and the multiverse to the new DCU. Haven't heard that, but okay. Federation shields got huge upgrades during and post Dominion War. Yes, probably. Worf is Klingon, but he wasn't raised by Klingons, so he has a unique perspective. At various times, Klingons even mention it. He tried his best to be what he sees as a Klingon. Still a great one. It's all very true. I say because of that, he's the most Klingon of Klingons, because he strives to be the perfect Klingon. So he's almost like, yeah. There are operational and administrative commands. You're absolutely right, Trekyards. A good tea, nice house throws in $10, so thank you so much. In the casino heist episode, Cisco had valid reasons not wanting to partake in the heist, but that duet at the end with Vic Fontaine is the most charming, heartwarming, memorable moment of this series. It is pretty great. Being the most heartwarming and memorable moment, though, that's quite a bold statement. I'm sure people might argue with you, but a captain can command a base in the Navy. You can be a commander and still be a captain of a ship if it's really small. You could be a lieutenant or ensign and be called skipper. Daniel's Hot Topics. Is it really DS9's 30th anniversary? Wow, happy 30th anniversary, DS9. It is. Anxiety-inducing episode, yes. That and the one where he was thrown in prison and lived like his whole life in the matter of a couple minutes. That fucking terrifies me. That was a better episode, in my opinion, than Inner Light. So, for that kind of premise. Okay, the episode where O'Brien's daughter falls into time tunnel and comes back older. Doctor. It's probably the weirdest one. Yeah. With Molly. And that's actually a sad one, especially as a parent. Yeah, that's a rough one to kind of get through for multiple reasons. But that replica O'Brien episode is great. It just sucks for him. Yeah. Poor O'Brien. DS9 regularly puts him through hell, and he has to go home to Keiko, some weird food, and no red meat. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck. Poor guy. O'Brien must suffer. Generation Productions. Cap, did you say Trip? Well, damn, he's gone. Scotty and O'Brien. Gordy, where are you when we need you? I didn't say Trip, but okay. Unless it was a mistake, like I said the wrong thing, but I don't think so. What we need is a series about an orphan Klingon raised by tribbles. No. Called Tarzan. Daniel's Hot Topics. Captain, have you played Star Trek Online? Just reinstalled it and downloaded it, and now I managed to get out of the first ship mission, which is going after the captain, but the ship is hard to control. Yes. I've played Star Trek Online for years. All that being said, I haven't played it in a long time. I still update it occasionally, and I fly my ship around, but I haven't done many of the missions or anything as of late. I really need to, though, because I really do enjoy playing it. A captain, meaning bird colonel, can command a base depending on what type of officer. For example, if a medical officer who is captain can command a naval hospital, but the flight commander squadron takes over all command. I once got dental work done by a captain. Awkward as hell. Chang was my favorite one-off Klingon. That reminds me, I got a dentist appointment tomorrow. To be honest, DS9 could totally get a sequel spin-off of how Prodigy is kind of Voyager 2.0, but more mature. Absolutely, yes. And I think it deserves it. O'Brien had a lot of great episodes. Absolutely, he did. The Darth Eddy, The Assignment, is arguably Keiko's best episode, and her body is possessed by the Power Wraith for most of it. A solid horror episode. Yeah, it is a horror episode, and there's no such thing as a good Keiko episode. She's on screen way too much in that episode, and she plays such a conniving, evil cunt in that episode. I hate to say it, but it's true. More so than she usually is, and absolutely despise her. So, yeah, don't need to see her. That's fine. Dan Bevan. I'm currently doing a Call of Cthulhu campaign with some friends. I usually base D&D RPG groups on Star Trek, and this time around I'm playing as the Chief. A lot of fun. Very cool. Trekyard, would you want to see a space-time continuum Star Trek in the future? Yes. If you mean like a far-flung future show that's not Discovery, yes. Yes. Slightly off topic, but I recently watched Star Trek V Final Frontier for the first time. Yikes, it was bad. It's not, though. There's a lot of good stuff in Star Trek V. Unfortunately, due to a writer's strike and budget being slashed repeatedly and having to change the script due to the budget constraints and a whole bunch of shit, that movie didn't quite hit what it should have been. That being said, there are a lot of things I really like about Star Trek V, especially the Kirk, Spock, and McCoy dynamic. Feels very TOS-like. So I disagree with anybody that says it's bad. It's not. It's not as bad as people say it is. The way the Power Wraith almost lets Keiko die when Miles won't follow her orders, it's creepy. Should have killed her. Good tea, nice house. Imagine a 2-minute conversation between O'Brien and Neelix. If you think Tuvok had no patience, O'Brien would have killed him. So it's an Irish temper. I can relate. BJ says, I like to see Worf called Skipper by snotty-nosed ensigns on the torpedo boat that is a Defiant class starship. Aye, Skipper. They should do a What If Star Trek mini animated series. We've been saying that for a long time now. Yeah, like the Trek shorts, but only like what if scenarios. What if this happened? What if that happened? I absolutely 100% agree with you. I would back this idea. I want to see it. So, sadly, Avery Brooks is getting on and not interested in Trek. So, a DS9 follow up with him is very unlikely. Isn't Brooks not as well as he used to be? Yeah, that's the other thing. It's not quite as good as he could have, as he could be. Star Trek V has a lot of good moments and good lines. Not perfect, but for Trekkies, it's a lot of fun, like hanging out with old friends. Yes, absolutely. The Darth Eddie, in Star Trek V's defense, the worst TOS film is still better than the worst TNG movie or worst Kelvin Timeline movie. At least The Final Frontier had heart behind it. Captain Casey Stewart, DS9 had 4 hero ships in or DS9 had 4 hero ships in or at DS9. I think the only in the series EX, TOS Enterprise, and TNG Enterprise D, the Defiant and Voyager was docked at DS9, plus an Intrepid class was on DS9 episode. So, Voyager, Enterprise D were both docked there. TOS Enterprise wasn't, but I see what you're saying. So yeah, the show for that alone, for having all the hero ships show up, says a lot. Richard Colgrove, who are your favorite DS9 characters? Mine are Jadzia and Wei Yun. Mine, honestly, would be Bashir and Garrick. Cisco. I do love Cisco. And O'Brien. If I had to whittle that down, I'd say Cisco, O'Brien, Garrick, Bashir, in that order. O'Brien and Bashir were a better couple than O'Brien and Keiko. No homo. That's true. Yeah. Oh, and Gul Dukat, fantastic character. McCoy's father dying in his Cybok flashback is one of the best scenes in the entire Trek movie franchise. Jeff W. 5 was my very first movie I saw at the theater at 14 and seeing 3 breasts, lol. Hezrez says, gotta go. See you all later. See you later, Hezrez. Take care. We need a DS9 themed museum like TNG Enterprise Bridge. We can have Promenade, Defiant Bridge, and Jem'Hadar Raider Bridge to start. What do you think? I agree with the Promenade and Defiant Bridge. Jem'Hadar Raider? Nah, don't need that. Don't need that. We need Quarks, though. And maybe a runabout. Which way, you? Good question. There's been a few of them. Ryan says, I absolutely 100% agree, but unfortunately, it'll be too expensive for anyone to do. I just want to win, a couple $1 million, and I would do it. Mark Alamo was great in DS9. James McGill is here. Hello. Hello, James McGill. Darth Eddie, at least Generations showed Kirk that his lifelong fear of dying alone was incorrect. Kirk died with Picard and nearly after saving an entire how to plan he went out. Far from alone. That's not what he meant by alone. By alone, he meant without Spock or McCoy. So when he says, "I always know I die alone," it's without the two other halves of the or the two other parts of the trifecta that make up the one person that is Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, the TOS heart and soul. Spock was the logic, McCoy was the feeling, and Kirk was like the action. That was a trifecta. And what he meant by dying alone was that neither one of them would be with him. And he was absolutely 100% correct. DS9, I think, was a more realistic Trek series out of the original five series. The five original series. More realistic. I would say so. Yeah, I would say so, yes. Just because of all the character interactions and the dynamic between the characters, I absolutely agree. I wonder, did they leave Kirk on Verdian 3? I mean, if you read the novels, yes, and then the Romulans beamed out his body. But anyway, that's... Or Kirk was wrong. What about what? That he always knew he would die alone? But was alone. Nobody that he knew was with him. Yeah, he knew Picard for like 4 minutes. But yeah. Enterprise did have a gritty deep space feeling at times and more modern, real world feeling characters, so at least the series had that going for it. No polished, perfect characters. Generation Productions. Corrections. Trekyards. Kirk didn't die alone, though. He died right in front of Picard. That's not the point. When he said he always knew he would die alone, he wasn't saying literally, like there would be no one else around. What he was saying was he wouldn't have his two best friends, McCoy and Spock, with him. Anyway, whatever. Finished watching The Prodigy Parts 2 of Season 1, ended on a strong note. Hell yeah, it did. Kirk should have killed Picard so he could die alone. Oh my god. The Romulans teleported Kirk's body and brought him back to life. Yes, I know that. That's what I said. Anyone think that they should have sent in more Akira class to fight the Dominion War? I understand, like modern Navy, you have old ships. I mean, Excelsior against Dominion ships? The Excelsiors were heavy cruisers. The Akiras aren't. The Akiras are like, I guess they're torpedo gunboats. But they only have a certain number of Akiras, too. Like, the Akiras are relatively new to the fleet. So, of course, they would have more Excelsiors and older designs floating around. So, Kirk meant die alone as in not married. No, he didn't. Because no woman could keep a ring on the captain. Richard Colgrove, what are your opinions on the DS9 Season 8 pitch presented and what we left behind? What concepts did you like or dislike? I have to go back and refresh myself with it, but I don't like that they sent Kira off to be a Vedic. That was stupid. I much prefer what they did with Lower Decks, where she stayed on the station. Nog being the captain of the Defiant, didn't have a problem with that. Esri being captain of her own ship, I kind of like that, actually. So that was all good. I don't remember much else about it than those three main things. But yeah, getting rid of Kira to be a Vedic, I think was an incredibly wrong move and completely stupid. So Kirk killing Picard would have saved us from the future. That is Picard's. Oh yeah. Anything to expect from fan-made Star Trek this year? No idea. Maybe some Captain Foley appearances in some fan films, perhaps. Picard was worst tactician. Went anywhere in time to retrieve Kirk to fight fight a Clockwork Orange when he could have picked Data, Worf, Spock, Seven, and he also could have gone back a week earlier instead of like 3 minutes earlier before the thing is on. It was just you can go anywhere, any place, and that's what you pick. A minute or two before the thing actually, that's just stupid. Get Soren when he's not expecting it, when he's not even on the fucking planet. So yeah, he was a bad tactician. Just wondering, have you and Samuel discussed how the Centaur class DS9 era ships in Prodigy are outscaled compared to the Sovereigns in the two most recent episodes? They look fantastic, but big. We haven't really covered the sizing yet. I'm sure we're going to do that at some point. But I think a lot of it's just camera lenses and trickery and depth of field and stuff. But yeah, that shot from the top, we do kind of discuss that in one of our videos. And it's hard to say where they are on the plane because it's a direct... Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I don't think they really worried about sizing, first of all. But also, if you want to get technical, his first reported death was on Enterprise B, and he was alone then, so I suppose that counts. Yes, and guess what? Spock wasn't with him, and neither was McCoy. So, yes. Bright Star Line. One slight upside of the Dominion War was pushing out the older ships in the Federation, like Miranda and Excelsior classes. Hey, you guys go up front, and oh, you got taken out. Oh, well, it's time to bring in some new ones, replace those ones. Yeah, so they're taking out the trash. Good morning, everyone. Wow, 30 years, huh? Feeling old again. How's it going, man? Jeff W., could you imagine what we could get if CBS Paramount embraced the fan has as Star Wars does their fan base? Yeah, I know, right? Embrace the fan base, yeah. Would be nice. Would be nice. Wayland Utani thought the same about Picard's tactics when he let B4 found data parts to be reassembled and wander around the ship in Nemesis. Yeah, something that's obviously a trap. You mean with fan flicks like Phase 2? Well, Phase 2 is so old, man. Olivia says I'm older than DS9. I don't know. Are you? I would have been 18 when DS9 came out. Another series that turns 30 this year, Sequest DSV. Holy shit. Yes, sir. No, I mean, besides TOS, I think DS9 is my favorite series for multiple reasons. The character development, the action, the humor, the fact that usually most episodes have like 3 stories going on at the same time. So yeah, DS9 is definitely right up there behind TOS as my favorite Star Trek. It's hard to really pick a favorite of Star Trek though, because TNG is equally as good. I do really like Voyager, despite everybody kind of shitting on it. I think it's fairly good overall. So yeah, and some of the best episodes of Trek are DS9 episodes, like Pale Moonlight. I love that moral dilemma that Sisko goes through. So yeah, I'm glad I finally got a chance to see all of Deep Space Nine, because like I said, I missed a lot of the episodes, and the ones I did see were not that great. So I had a very bad opinion of DS9 from the very beginning, but since made up for that, and that's good. So, and I also didn't like Kira for a number of years. I still don't like her in season 1, but she definitely has become better the older I've gotten. Same with Bashir. I hated Bashir for a long time. Now Bashir is one of my favorite characters, so I can relate to him. A lot of what he does reminds me of me. So well, if Picard went back in time like a week before, then there's a risk that the good doctor could have found a way to finish his mission regardless. So I kind of get that idea. Flip the card. Originally asked the shadow of Whoopi to come with him to a fist fight. 93 seems to be a good year for sci-fi. Generations turns 30 next year, and the cinematography and effects still hold up. It's one of the most gorgeous films in the franchise. I really love Generations, and Samuel's like, it's one of the worst films. It's like, is it though? It's because they're using the TNG sets, and they're lit funny, and it looks weird, he says, but I love the cinematic look of them. I don't know. I think DS9 Generations is a fantastic movie. Sure, it's not perfect by any means, and it's not the best Star Trek movie at all, but it's still a good movie, and really kind of ticks all the boxes for a Star Trek film for me. So, what was your first reaction when you first saw and heard the music for the opening sequence of DS9? I have no idea what my first reaction was. It's probably like, this is new. This is something interesting and strange. Because it was a show about a frontier, out in the far reaches of the frontier. It's like a totally different style show to anything we had seen before. So I don't remember what my first reaction was. Sorry. Homefront Paradise Lost, DS9, based of 7 Days in May. To be honest, no one cared about Odo and Kira relationship. Well, they didn't. The actors didn't even think it was a good idea to write that in, but they did. There are better series like DS9, but Voyager is my favorite, and Janeway my favorite captain. Well, second favorite captain. Who's your favorite captain then? TNG number 1, with DS9 just behind, and TOS just behind it, the Voyager, but Enterprise is a little further back from Voyager. Birth defect. I liked Voyager for 7 mostly. Not for her looks. Interesting character. Wished better for her. Yeah. I couldn't stand Kess. I'm glad they got rid of Kess and replaced her with 7. Yeah, I feel ya. Sorry, I missed Jeff's comment about Sequest. No problem. The Darth Eddy. The Enterprise B is one of my favorite Enterprises. Generations got me loving the Excelsior refit design. I also love the Excelsior refit. Never was a fan of the Excelsior itself, but the refit I kind of liked. I like the additions to it. So, Armando Rodriguez. Hi, Captain. In your opinion, which are the top 5 or top 10 bad guys in all of Star Trek? Holy Christ. Top 5, we'll go with Kai Wynn, Gul Dukat, Ben Khan, those are the only ones that come to mind right offhand. So, yeah, there you go. That's the best I can do. Wayland Utani. I love Generations. It came out at the peak of my interest in Trek as a kid. Yeah, I would agree with that. Because I was kind of at that age too, where I thought Generations was great. When did Generations come out, though? Don't know. We got a few other Star Trek anniversaries all year long as well, including the 50th anniversary of the original animated series and the 10th anniversary of Into Darkness. That last one doesn't count, so. I feel the same about Voyager. Also, I heard a myth that Roddenberry wanted a female captain. Number 1 was supposed to be the captain, but then because of the culture at the time, didn't. Yeah. And yeah, that is a rumor. It is maybe what he wanted. I don't know. It's hard to say at this point, but you do. Oh, I'm your favorite captain. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. But thank you. I appreciate that. But Jeff W. I meant based off inspired. Sorry, iPad keyboard was stalling. What did you say? Oh. Gotcha. 94 was Generations. Yeah, so I was 20. Yeah. James McGill, very happy that we got to see Star Trek Online ships become canon on Picard and Prodigy. There have been no STO ships on Prodigy, so. But Picard, yes, absolutely. The Darth Eddy, Generations was an experience as was First Contact. Sadly, the films since haven't been even even though I was excited to see if Trek 2000 and Lion lived up to the hype and liked it. Captain Casey Stewart. I really like both iterations of the Excelsior classes, also Obana class and Excelsior 2 class I like. Yeah, those are also two really great ships. Good tea, nice house. Alex Kurtzman is a greater Star Trek villain than Khan. Prove me. Wow. Yeah, Kurtzman should be number one, then Ducat, then no. Kurtzman, then Kaiwen, then Ducat, then Khan. Picard may be an okay current Star Trek show for me, but I love how the Star Trek Online Starship became canon in the show and my number one Prodigy. Picard, best captain, then Foley. Donnie Pearson. I don't have anything against Kurtzman or his secret hideout team, but to be honest, referring to Alex Kurtzman, yet I agree with those who want someone else to take Kurtzman's place as lead Star Trek showrunner, someone who understands Star Trek. Yeah, the guy's an asshole. Is there a canon reason why the Excelsior class got refitted and went back to the Excelsior class look? Like, did the Excelsior class damage subspace or something? There's nothing that I'm aware of, no. I don't think there's a canon reason at all. I remember 1994. I remember seeing O.J. Simpson running from the police on the freeway on the news. I was 7 at the time, and O.J. Simpson is still in jail 29 years later. Seems like the Voyager J is the most popular 32nd century starship in Discovery. It honestly is the best of those distant future ship designs. Yes, I would agree with that. When is this next trial? Do you know? The O.J. Simpson trial never ends. No, it never ends, my friend. I don't know. No. I do remember that breaking news story that year. I think a lot of people do. Maybe they didn't want to waste a ship. Excelsior design. Sorry, guys. Neelix, number one villain. I'll fight anyone who says different. Then fight me, bitch. Neelix is not a bad character. I rather like Neelix, honestly. So, yeah, I'm calling you out. Bring it on. Can't wait for hopefully Voyager A, and we see what it looks like. Right? Yeah. I'd have no problem with it. It's just a Pathfinder class from STO. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, the teasing us with the shuttles, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. I hope more storylines from STO become canon. Holy crap. I don't remember the OJ story. What happened? Well, there's different versions of that story. Some with pulp, some without. So, Planet X, $5. Do you think Picard Season 3 will be a good send-off for the TNG cast? Yes, I'm hoping so. Do I think it will be? Yes, I have faith that they probably did something good. Heard a lot of good things over the years leading up to it. A lot of people that work on the show kind of talked to us about it. And yeah, I'm very hopeful that it's going to be a good send-off. So I would say that Tuvok hated Neelix with the Holosuite program. Yeah, I had no problem with Neelix. Oh, Christ. Donnie says, I would honestly say that the final season of Picard would be a decent enough for me, yet I may love it scored even more. Kudos to Stephen Barton. Daniel's Hot Topics. Captain, I saw your Enterprise E in Star Trek Prodigy video. Wow, so the Enterprise E is still around. It is. The Darth Eddie, I'm still trying to get used to the new 25th century Connie design for the Stargazer A and Picard. Hopefully, it'll end up looking a lot better in the actual episodes than in still images. Stargazer A. And it's not a new century. Okay. It's not a 25th century Constitution class design, first of all, and it's the Titan A. It's not a new Connie. I don't know why people fucking keep saying that. It doesn't look anything like the Connie, really. It's based on Bill Krause's Shangri-La design, which you've actually done an episode on and had Bill Krause on our show. It's quite different than a Constitution class, but everybody's like, oh, it's a new Constitution class or whatever. It's because the saucer looks similar. Yeah, it'll look great. Don't you worry about it. Stuart, do you think there will be some sort of spin-off of Picard season 3 since the sets and uniforms, etc.? Yes, there's probably going to be, like I've said this many times, there's probably going to be Star Trek LaForge or Star Trek Geordi or Star Trek Worf, where they have like another, like continue the show but with a different character, like 3 seasons of The Forge and then like 2 seasons of Worf or something. I think they'll do something like that. I personally don't like the Pathfinder class, but hope it does look like an Intrepid class. I think Voyager A will have a drastically different look. The J and Discovery resembled the original. I don't think it'll be drastically different than the Intrepid class. No. A lot of people are saying it's going to be a Dauntless class or it's going to be the Protostar class. It's not going to be either of those things. I think it'll look something very similar to an Intrepid. Like I said, if it went with the Pathfinder from STO, something that looks like a refitted, updated Intrepid class, I think that's what they're going to go for. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, the J in the future is the exact same design, essentially, just featured up. So the interior is what I love best about the Titan A, to be honest. Yet I love a fan-made version of what the exterior should have looked like. The producer said that it was the Connie revision 3. When did they say that? I've talked with Terry Metalis about that, and he said that I hope that people appreciate the callback. It's not a Constitution class or anything, but if people understand the design language. So I won't be calling it a new Constitution class, I don't think, anytime soon. Knowing Starfleet, they'll make the Voyager a similar to an Intrepid class. The Enterprises from 1701 to F all share similar design choices, so I imagine the Voyager will be reminiscent of the first. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I don't trust New Trek for anything, let alone providing a better send-off than All Good Things. When it comes to New Trek, I'm still shocked. I like Lower Decks and Prodigy. Wow, jaded much? I want Star Trek Barclay. There you go. I have a feeling Picard is going to die for good at the end of season 3. I agree with you, and yeah, they're probably going to have a new ship called the USS Picard at the end after his death, and it's going to be the Picard class. Huh? Titan A is not a new Constitution class type, so it's not. So what is the class then? I don't know what the class is. Probably the Shangri-La class. I don't know what they're going to officially call it, but it's not a new Constitution class at all. really frustrating because one person says one thing on one video. Oh, it looks like a new Constitution class, and then it just fucking snowballs, and everybody's like, "It's a Constitution class." It's not. Whatever. I don't know what they're going to call the class officially. Hopefully, it's the Shangri-La class or something, because that's the original ship it was based on. But who knows what they're going to do with that? If they call it the new Constitution class, I quit. I'll quit YouTube. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that, but that'd just be stupid. I would hope for an Intrepid refit for Voyager A. Yes. The Darth Eddie, at least the producers made Worf look like a normal teen. Why the fuck wouldn't they? With any luck, they'll be bringing... That's the other thing that pisses me off. They better not make Worf look like one of those Discovery Klingons. Of course they're not fucking going to. He's been around forever. They know, they have the character look. They're not going to fucking change Worf to look like a Discovery Klingon. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard from people. And that really frustrates me. Well, I hope they show Worf looking like a Klingon, like he should. Of course they're fucking going to. They would never not. I just need to move on. Sorry. He called it a Connie 2 on Rob Burnett's show. Well, there you go. I think that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard, but okay. If they did a Picard class, I'd hope they'd take a lot of influence from the Galaxy class. Yeah. Or could you see them giving Picard a son at the end? I could see them doing something stupid like that, yeah. Same parts as Akani, only 25% bigger. If Picard does die at the end, I hope he gives his golem body to Data. Picard being a synth was such a stupid thing to do. But Data wanted to die, so why would you give a body to Data and bring Data back to life when all he wanted to do was die? Disrespectful to the character. It'll be the Connie 2 or whatever. Already done it with the Excelsior. I like the ship, but it just doesn't fit anywhere. Anyone messes with my head. Hello. I think it's fine to bring back an old design. Terry Metalis and crew wanted to do that because everybody's bitching about how a lot of the new ships looked in Picard, like the fucking, even though it's not a Starfleet ship, but like the La Serena and shit. He wanted to bring back that feeling of original Trek again, so they designed the ship with the callbacks. Like Starfleet is going for a more retro look with its design process, and he thought people would love it. And when it was first revealed in the trailer, it was very divided. And he actually messaged us saying, "I can't believe that so many people don't like the design. I just wanted to make something that everybody would love as a callback to original Trek." And nope, everybody shit all over it and still are. And it actually depresses him quite a bit because he wants to make a really good show that people will like. So, yeah, so I don't know what to tell you guys. Why so late? What time is it there? Of the best sagas, where his battles with the Dominion, epic battles, and the stupidity of the Cardassians and their self-destruction. Been a while since I saw Picard Season 1. Why did Data want to die? Why did Data want to die? I don't know, there's a whole long speech about it. Because he was basically trapped he's been trapped his entire life, either in an android body or on the data chip or whatever the hell it was. He just wanted to be released. Eric says I'd be up for a USS Sheer Fucking Hubris. Would be a kick-ass ship. Orgod 6. Can't stay. Drop by to drop my like and to do love. Drop my like. I do love the random hangouts. live Hangout. So thank you, War God 6. Live long and prosper. Eagle Rider, thank you, Foley, for being there for me Monday. Thank you for having me. Sorry I didn't say much, and sorry I left so unceremoniously, but I really hate the structure of those shows where people just fucking talk and talk and talk and talk, and I, I'm trying to jump in and say something, and they fucking overtalk you, and I cannot stand that. So I didn't say much, and I did try to say a few things and kept getting overtalked, and I don't like that format. So wish I could have stayed longer, but it was just really irritating me. I don't have a problem with the Titan A. I just want to know what happened to the Enterprise E. Data died because he wanted to. Early 25th century ships should be a retro ship designer. They should have had Q make him an orphanic then to die naturally so he could have the character. Would Discovery have worked better if it had initially set in the early mid 25th century, obviously with different aesthetics? It would have been much better as a post Nemesis show, 100%. Everything would have worked fine. Even the aesthetics would have worked perfectly. Yes. That's something I don't get. Just as much as someone shits on something, others applaud it. What I don't like about the Titan A is too many impulse engines for me. That's a good point. There are a lot of impulse engines stacked back there. I don't know why that is. The original Shangri-La has some big engines back there. Not quite as big, though. I think when I talked to Bill about that, it was just a kind of designed by committee thing. They wanted it to just look impressive from the back. So they beefed out those impulse engines. But I don't know for sure. I can see why it's a problem. Data spent 20 years trapped inside of an isolinear chip as a disembodied personality. He knew his body died in Nemesis, and he wanted to end his existence with his own concept of dignity and peace. Eagle Rider says, I know it gets hard to talk when there is a big panel, especially with internet delays. Yeah, I have real problems with that format, so. That was a copy of Data's memories, not actually Data. I'm sure if they found his positronic brain, he would want to live. In Nemesis, Data did not want to die. I don't like getting overtalked. I fucking hate getting overtalked. That's why I like doing these by myself, because I can just talk. Same guys, I usually only have a few on. It's harder to keep small panels during celebrations. And congratulations on monetization and stuff, by the way. Ooh, 3 beef and cheese taquitos. Yum. I'm fine with whether or not Admiral Picard would die at the end of the penalty. Yeah, I think he will, personally. I've been saying that for a while. Pumpkin Spice. The transference into B4 would have made more sense than him just being on a chip. Yes, I agree. Igor says, you are welcome to come back on for a one-on-one and again anytime. I would love a one-on-one. I think that'd be fun. I would love to come back on and just chat with you. So those are much better in my opinion. So, but yeah, thank you for inviting me. We'll figure out a time and make it so. See what I did there? Yeah, you did. You saw it. You liked it. SC Scout Guy. I like the Titan A, but to me, if they were going for retro design, it could have been better, like a new Excelsior. That being said, I like it, but I didn't love it, but it might grow on me. Eagle Rider. I love 2 or 3 people. It's great for getting to hang out. Make it so. Make it moan. Oh, baby. Will UK. I like the USS Titan A, but I always thought Star Trek was always about looking forward, especially in the design of the Starfleet ships. So I do not understand somewhat why some dislike it. So I do understand somewhat why some dislike it. Like, okay, I get that for sure. I understand that as well. But did Picard season 1 say that B4's neural net couldn't handle data's transference, and thus the Daystrom Institute and Maddox had to disassemble before to remove the data elements? Yes, it never congealed correctly in his head, and it started causing system failures and corruption, so they had to shut down before and disassemble him. He was disassembled in the big drawer, so obviously B4 wasn't working exactly. Did you see my theory about BSG 2004 and Trek? Probably, but I don't remember it. Daniel says, has anyone found Kalish Batleth or the cure for the Kayapaka? No and no. What's your opinion about the Titan AA? I think it looks great. I hope Professor Moriarty will have a nice role in Picard season 2. What the fuck do you want? Okay, whoa, fucking relax. You can move. You can go too if you want. That doesn't mean that I'm going downstairs yet. Kalish. Is it true that the Sovereign class Enterprise did not fight in the Dominion War? I don't know. Seems rather stupid to me, but so does the Enterprise not fighting in the Klingon War in Discovery. Because the Enterprise is one of our best and newest ships. We needed to keep it on the outskirts so it didn't get destroyed. What? Okay. Moving on. I will tell you a secret, Foley. I actually have a lot more social anxieties than I let on, and I was having my own violet moments where I get anxious on my own stream. Oh, I totally get that. Yeah. Trust me, I have a lot of social anxieties that a lot of people would be surprised about. But here I am. Man, 30 years since DS9 debuted. I remember taping it and watching it after work. It was not very good, but Kira had Bajoran big ones. Wow. I do wonder if Lower in Season 3 hasn't gotten a Soong-like golem body or had his epidermis altered to look human. Who knows? We'll find out, though. Planet X. It makes no sense for Data to want to die in Picard. His most important goal was to be more human. He would have only been 61 years old in Picard. He was born in 2338. In Picard Season 3. Yeah, but the speech goes something like one of the most human things about being human is the fact that you will die, and you know that you're going to die. So that's why he wanted to die. I don't know. Just go back and watch the fucking speech. After watching Picard Season 1, what if the descendants of the Galactica fleet evolved into United Earth Starfleet 200,000 years later? Well, there you go. Great theory. Pumpkin Spice, I came in late. What did the showrunner do that upset people? He created a new starship with a retro design look, so it looked like the original Enterprise in style. That pissed people off. Tell you what, send me one of your favorite topics and we will do a chat about it. Okay. How about we just have a general discussion chat? Why do we have to have a topic? Yo, Cap. Had a few before I go into work. Wanted to drop in. I can't believe DS9 is now 30 years old. Damn, I feel old. Good to see you, Kid 10K. I've not seen you in a while. Thank you so much for showing up. Where is the Enterprise E? Scanning for Romulans and gaseous anomalies, lol. So much for the best King Sovereign class ship in the fleet that they didn't want it out there on the battlefield. Although, let's not forget, his head is 475 years old. Older than that, and the rest of him thanks to being trapped in the cavern under San Francisco since 1893. Speak for yourself, Captain. I plan to live forever. Some of the clothing that Jake wore in DS9 almost made him look like he was a member of the X-Men. Those multicolored gray bodysuits were wild. Hey, Squadron Course. After Worf assassinated Chancellor Gowron, why did I accept the position of Supreme Chancellor? Because of the stigma of his father. Okay. Peter Lukaku, $20. Happy New Year. Late to the unadvertised chat. Hope this year brings the best Trek in years. Good to see you, Peter. And yeah, I was going to schedule this earlier, but I was waiting on a thumbnail from Matt Boardman, and so it didn't get scheduled till like kind of right before, so I apologize. Do any episodes of DS9 stand out for you? For me, Tony Todd's performance as the older Jake Sisko in The Visitor is still a favorite of mine to this day. It still gives me a lump in the throat. We talked about that earlier. I'm not impressed with The Visitor at all. It's the same as City on the Edge of Forever and Inner Light for me. Just good storytelling, good sci-fi. It doesn't need to be in Star Trek. It's just got a Star Trek coat of paint on it. A lot of them stand out for me. The Sound of Her Voice is a good one. We've talked about a bunch of them. Why can't I think of them right now? I'm not going to say duet. Everybody fucking says duet, and it's not that good to me. The one with Sloane's brain, where they go in Sloane's brain while Sloane's dying. I think that's fucking great. I don't know. We've talked about a bunch of them. I apologize. Do you have any interviews with Terry Matalas lined up? We were going to do it right after the trailer was released, and he was all set up and ready to go come on, and then he canceled last minute and said that the fan reaction to the trailer has kind of soured him a little bit, and he didn't feel like talking. So we were like, okay, well, but yes, I'm sure we'll have him on at some point. Eric Martin, what DS9 loose ends would you like to have seen cleaned up? Well, Cisco, please come back. Like a minute after you leave, you're non-corporeal and non-linear. You can fucking not be the dad that went to the corner store to buy cigarettes and never came home. Like, with your pregnant fucking wife. Like, come on. Other than that, that's the main one that I want to see, honestly. It's the Return of Cisco. But I know they've done it in books and comics. But anyway. I don't know. I don't know what to say for that one. It is extra dumb that the Enterprise E was not involved in the Dominion War, as it was meant to battle the Borg. Real world. They did not want the new TNG movie ships crossing into the TV series. Yes. Worf didn't want the job. He's a Starfleet officer and grew up among humans. He was not a politician or a ruler, so he'd never have accepted the office of Chancellor for the Empire. Eric Martin, the kid who played Jake, is actually pretty normal now and a bit out there. He was a bit out there as a teenager. Yeah, he actually looks a lot like Sisko's kid would look too. He looks a lot like Sisko. He could actually play Sisko. Pale Moonlights, It's Only a Paper Moon. I'm not a fan of that one either. Sound of Her Voice, I really like Treachery, Faith, and the Great River, too, just for the fun factor. I don't mind another TNG movie or in any new Star Trek content for that matter. You don't care for The Visitor? No, it's not that I don't care for it. Like I said, it's brilliant storytelling, very well written, great premise, awesome sci-fi premise. But it's the same thing as I say for fucking City on the Edge of Forever from TOS and The Inner Light. Everybody's like, oh my God, The City on the Edge of Forever is the best episode of TOS. It's fucking not. All right? It's not. Fantastic sci-fi story. Excellent premise. I absolutely love the idea. Doesn't need Star Trek. You could do that whole thing as a movie with no Star Trek in it. It'll be just as fucking good. The only reason it's the best of Star Trek is because it's a fantastic piece of science fiction storytelling with a Star Trek skin. Has nothing to do with the Star Trek characters, really. Same with fucking Inner Light. Inner Light is like 2 minutes of Star Trek episode with a really great fucking sci-fi movie in the middle of it. Has nothing to do with Star Trek. The Visitor's the same way. That's a hill I'm gonna die on. Anyway, moving on. Best DS9 episode, the one where the changelings find out about the Obsidian Order, tell Shi'ar sneak attack. Pretty good, except for the Odo torture stuff. DS9 Field of Fire is a good one. That wild ass gun. I bet since it's the 80th anniversary of DS. I do wish we'd seen more of Destruction of Cardassia in the finale. 800 million dead and barely any shots of the ruined planet. I know Trek avoids getting too dark and violent for TV, but still. Sorry for that sound. It's my dog chewing on a fucking toy. Planet X, $5. Section 31 in Deep Space Nine was the best portrayal of it. Enterprise is a close second. Discovery ruined it. No, fucking Enterprise ruined Section 31. Section 31 in DS9 was fantastic because you weren't sure about the organization, if it was actually true, if it was all in Sloane's head, if Sloane was the only member and he was just insane. And then they fucking have to slap it in Enterprise. They got to slap it in everything, and it fucking ruined it. Avery Brooks said he hated the black absentee father stereotype. Then he left the show with Cassidy holding a baby and refused any chances to come back. Have you checked out the new Michelle Yeoh show, Everything Everywhere All at Once? No, but we're going to. Why did people not like Picard Season 3 trailer? Many reasons. Gotta go to work. Da-da-da. See you later, Kit. If anything, the showrunner got so hurt by fan reaction really gives me hope in a roundabout way. Fans hating is never fine, but as a positive, it really shows he cares. Oh, he really cares about Star Trek and really wanted to do a really great season 3 of Picard. And so, yeah, it hurt him. Oh, if you were wondering, I found your old video. The 50s Roadster Enterprise was made by Matt Wiley. Thank you. As a fan makes. There you go. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I don't like City on the Edge of Forever. It's coarse and rough and irritating. It gets everywhere. What are some episodes that stand out to you, being especially Trek-based, not necessarily faves? Well, Sacrifice of Angels. Fuck, I don't know, man. My brain is drawing a blank as far as episodes go. Trials and Tribulations, very Star Trek. I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. In the episode A Time to Stand, why did Captain Sisko say that he was going to take an entire fleet? Wasn't he aware that they didn't have any chance? I don't know. You absolutely nailed it in regards to the City on the Edge of Forever. Thank you. Colin Barrett, Starship Down and Siege of AR-558 were also good. Starship Down's good. Siege of AR-558, absolutely fucking hate that episode. Daniel's Hot Topics. I think Cardassia suffered 900 million dead at the end of DS9. Off topic, if Hollywood would not screw around too much, a cool Knight Rider movie could have been made in 2002 with Hasselhoff's kid from Baywatch. He grew up to look like him. I don't think Homefront Paradise Lost doesn't get much love. And they're all right. I don't have a problem with those episodes. Peter Lukaku, $5. You going to watch M3 GAN with Sylvia? What's that? I don't know what that is, so maybe I'll watch it with her. I don't know. Pumpkin Spice could have used the last 2002 Trans Am and the new 2005 GTO for the sequel. Dun, dun, dun. Eric Martin. Garrick would make a good president. He's such a good liar. He's meant for politics. Lower Decks did the second best. Section 31 really sent up the disco stupidity of having badges and the like. Picard would never let Worf do anything to or hit anyone. It kind of defeats the purpose of the character and what he was made for by the writers at the last minute. Dan Bevan. Is it too obvious to say Way of the Warrior is my favorite? Love a couple of episodes taking place aboard the Rotaran too. Core's send-off was phenomenal. Way of the Warrior is a good one to have as a favorite. Cap, joke. Q, what do you call a bunch of pigs on a space station? Deep space swine. Pigs in space. From the Muppet Show, in case you're too young to know that. Squadra Course. What was that about, Terry Mattel? Nothing. Pumpkin Spice. Megan, the Terminator's daughter, basically. Okay. There's a show called Megan. No worries on the most Trekish episodes. You guys do great keeping up with all of the questions, etc. in these lives. I try. I love hearing J.G. Hertzler sing. Yes, he is a good singer. Sean O'Sullivan, you see the id writers making fun of the word being ignored trope by having them listen to Shax when he wants to blow something up. Peter Lukaku, $5. Megan is the new female AI Chucky movie that's getting a lot of hype. Haven't heard a goddamn thing about it. Planet X, $5. You have the best Star Trek channel on YouTube. Thank you. I don't believe you, but thank you. New sci-fi horror movie. Megan. Oh, it's a movie. Okay. Yeah, haven't heard of it. Richard says, really like the episode Apocalypse Rising, even if it doesn't quite stick the ending. I'm not sure which one that is, so sorry, I don't know my episode titles so well in Deep Space Nine. In the Pale Moonlight is one fan favorite that deserves its reputation. Both Sisko and Garrick are shown to be in the gray area individuals. They do what it takes to win the war. I can live with it. Yeah, In the Pale Moonlight is like my favorite episode for sure. And as a captain, I would do exactly the same thing that Sisko did. I would be able to live with it. New Chucky. Brad Dourif is the perfect creeping casting. For a while, I had a feeling the writers were debating which way to go with Ducat, good or evil. It seems like it, yeah. Agreed, Planet X with the anti-Trekker, a close second. He's no longer anti-Trekker. He is now Salty Trekker, which is a better name. I didn't watch him for a long time with the name anti-Trekker because I assumed he hated all things Star Trek. So anyway, now he's like a good friend of mine, so. Scarlet 2K18 in Pale Moonlight is a genius episode. It is indeed. Was Brad in a Voyager episode? Yes, he was Suitor. He was in a few episodes of Voyager as the crazy serial killer guy. Darth Eddie, like to think even Kirk would have done what Cisco did in the Pale Moonlight. And Enterprise showed Archer was willing to get his hands dirty. Yeah, Picard wouldn't have. Janeway probably would have. Archer would have. Kirk would have. Yeah, I think most captains would have, honestly. I get slightly upset that Janeway doesn't give the Doctor the same rights that Data gets in Measure of a Man. Yeah. He'll always be anti to me. Yeah. I just think Salty Trekker is a much better name for him. Peter Lukaku, $2. Is there a date to Strange New Worlds Season 2? Not yet. No. I'm guessing it's going to be end of March or early April, but they haven't announced it yet. So, hi, Captain. Just saying hi and hope you all is well and Happy New Year. Well, thank you, Raven DeGray. Much appreciated. Same to you. Daniel's Hot Topics. Will George Takei and William Shatner ever be friends again? No, probably not. Who cares? Wow. They've been having a feud for over 50 years. It wasn't really a feud until like the late 80s, early 90s, though. And then it's just become the only thing that they can talk about to generate interest anymore. Because, let's be fair, all Shatner talks about is fucking horse charities that nobody gives a flying fuck about. And all that George Takei talks about is his internment camp experiences and Brad and him hating Shatner. Right now, he's just famous for hating Shatner. So, thank you for verifying Brad Bean and Voyager. I had a moment where I thought, imagine that. I know he was in the X-Files, so I thought I got them mixed up. Nope, yeah, he's plays Lieutenant Suter. He's in quite a few episodes. Well, not quite a few. He's in a few episodes of Voyager. And he goes out as a hero saving the ship, even though he was a serial killer. And he was also a Betazoid, Betazed as well, just for the record. Stranger Will's Pike might not pull a Cisco, but he'd find a way to force the Romulans into a war that didn't violate his ethics. Pike is the new series. In the new series, finds creative ways to get goals accomplished. I thought Kirk and Sulu were friends. Kirk and Sulu were friends and are friends, but Shatner and Takei, no. I saw that George has. I say that George has the feud. I don't think Bill gives a fuck. Yeah, that's exactly what the case is, yes. It's a bit strange, though, that Cisco was so bothered by the events of Pale Moonlight after he was willing to destroy whole planets to capture Eddington. Yeah, his vendetta. Huh. Keep hearing Stranger World Season 2 and having some kind of... I keep hearing Strange New Worlds Season 2 is having some kind of crossover. Yes, with Lord X. Mariner and Boimler are going to be crossing over into Strange New Worlds, so who knows how that's going to go. Takei, he's currently in the West End. Is Samuel going? Going to what? The West End? I don't think so. Did you know that George Takei was the head thug and enforcer in Batman Beyond animated movie? No, I didn't. Computer, delete that entire YouTube Live. West End is the London equivalent of Broadway. Gotcha. I can see the dialogue in that crossover now. Obama's like, the Enterprise look like this? That's not what the computer records show. Yes, we want something like that. I think Mariner would be more likely to say it. Like, hey, This isn't how this is supposed to look. And then Boimler would say, I know, right? It looks so much different in the data banks. I've had a day, I'm telling you. All right. We're at the 2 hour mark. Exactly. Hit like if you haven't hit like yet. Damn, I forgot to hit the like button. Someone remind me. Someone remind a dude. Well, yeah, I said it just as you typed that. I'm 50. And 1 2/3 DS9. My memory isn't so good. I'm right there, man. I'm 48. So hit that like button. I should have reminded people earlier. But we're at 75 likes. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, super chat wise, I could throw a super chat goal out there, but I'm hesitant to. Let's see if there's a snipe war happening anyway. Let's see, do math, Stuart. Another $40 would be a good number to get to, but if not, that's fine too. But 75 likes is good, so thank you. Peter Lukaku, $1. Planet X, I think the doctor on Voyager deserves the same rights Data gets. They're both artificial intelligences, but they're both sentient. Agreed. I totally agree with you. Most people would. Squadra Course, $1. Squadra Course is looking for that last super chat slot. Squadra Course, are we sniping? I don't know. Are you? I mean, you sniped in. You got the last super chat slot, so as long as nobody snipes out from under you, you're going to win. Good tea. Nice house. 42 years old over here and 12 when DS9 aired. Amen, brother. Amen. Good to know everybody's ages. If you look at our analytics, the age, like people my age are like our biggest demographic, obviously, and males, by the way. So I think that's hilarious. Is Grievous here? I have not seen Grievous, no. I'm still hoping Robert Picardo makes cameos on not only Picard, but this Discovery as the backup EMH from Living Witness. He left in a shuttle around the time of the burn and might still be around. I know, right? We've been saying that forever. Peter Lukaku, $1. Lysander? I'm probably saying that wrong again. What do you think of how Cisco handled the Maquis planet torpedo scene? Was it too extreme? Yes, it was a little bit white whaley of him. But it got the job done. Sean O'Sullivan, €1. Peter Lukaku, fuck. Squadra Course, $1. There we go. Now the snipe war has begun. The snipe war has. Sean says, Strange New Worlds being a post-Star Trek First Contact timeline might be something that makes sense if Boimler brings up the aesthetic. Raven de Grey, 38 here. DS9 has always been my favorite Trek, but used to watch TOS every Saturday on CKVR and TNG as it aired. Sean O'Sullivan, I think Blue Bricks might change their mind on demographics of your audience. Now it's emerged how many toys grown adults are buying. Yeah, we are the biggest market, so disposable income and everything. Squadra Course, we could get a Doctor cameo on Voyager A. That would be great as well. Peter Lukaku, $2. Eat snipe lead. Damn. We're clawing our way up there. Yeah, guys, like I said at the beginning of this, I was going to do this in the ready room. I was going to have DS9 display graphics behind me and everything, but I kind of ran out of time to get the ready room set up appropriately. And I need to pull it. There's a lot of things. And then something happened right before the live that kind of threw me in a sour mood. And it's been a day. So this wasn't quite the live I had in mind. I probably seemed a little down during this one, and I apologize. But for people who say that Starfleet is too ethical and won't play dirty. Let's not forget the Admiral Ross worked with Section 31 to infiltrate Romulus, so walking a gray area tightrope is normal. Ooh, you pronounced it correctly. Some say Lysander, Greeks. The rest of the world, Lysander. Thank you for answering my questions. Anytime, my friend. Thank you for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, there would be no us. So thank you. Good team, nice house, $2. Ta-da! I win. And then gets immediately sniped out by Grant McGregor's huge $5 super chat. Would be nice to have a DS9 Voyager short trek. Chakotay could simply see a grave of his old friends, ones that died when he was away. The best of DS9, Elam Garrick. Alias is the Taylor. But I could kill you even with a pin. Can always do it for the 60th. Starfleet also wanted to set off a bomb at the center of the Klingon homeworld in Discovery, and that is way worse than Cisco poisoning a planet's atmosphere, but that's Discovery. It's dark to begin with. Ransom has the best line in Star Trek. I got her cleaning jizz from the holodeck fug filter. Thoughts? Don't ask me thoughts on that. That's not how a holodeck works. There's no fucking filters. And then Lower Decks comes along and fucks it up with that line as a joke because that's what, everybody jerks off and fucking comes in the holodeck. It's not how it works. There's no fucking filters. There's a joke for years. Who gets to clean the holodeck after every... Like, shut the fuck up. That's not how the holodeck works. That would be a whole rant. I don't want to get into it. Don't start. Hadn't noticed anything. Will the Prometheus CMH come back? Hope not. Andy Dick. Do you think Odo could become two smaller people at the same time? No. Peter Lukaku, $1 snipe. Thank you, Peter. You can do whatever you like in Starfleet and maintain your ethics once you take your comm badge off. That's true. Do you think the Prometheus EMH can split into three smaller versions of itself? No. It's all good, Captain. I actually kind of like it when the live is in this room. Feels more inviting, like you're inviting us into your home. Welcome to my home, everyone. Please have a seat. Would you like a candy? Maybe an apple. I don't know if they're poisoned or not. Sit. I wonder what the Discovery writers are thinking about Elon Musk's name drop. They don't think, the Discovery writers, so they wouldn't even remember or care, probably. Peter Lukaku, $5. If you had a choice for the 80s or 90s comeback show, which would you choose? For an 80s or 90s comeback show? Star Trek related? I don't know. Or just mean in general. Magnum PI's come back in a successful way. I like the new Magnum PI. I wouldn't mind a new A-Team show. Knight Rider, they fucked up a few times, so I don't need that anymore. I don't know. That's a very good question. If I had a holodeck, it would very much be used for that. Yes, so would mine. Right on, Cap. Be good. Just happy to celebrate DS9. Missed celebrating it with Trekkies when the documentary was in theaters. I did get a chance to see it in the theater. It was pretty awesome. When you realize that Lorca from season 1 is from the Mirror Universe, the Elon Musk comparison suddenly makes more sense. LOL. Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. The Trout Bum Wombat, $5. DS9 is good Trek. It's the best Trek. Well, I wouldn't say that. It is good Trek. That 90s show looks terrible. Was that Captain Bane? You missed your calling as the new Count Chocula. Welcome to my house. Why don't all Starfleet have subdermal communicators as backup? Makes no sense. You just rip off the comm hedge, and they're helpless. That's a good point. Quantum Leap Survival is working to a point, but it still lacks the feel of the original. I still haven't seen that yet, and I mean to watch it. Stargate used to be an alternative franchise. I watched TNG Voyager. I never knew about TOS until much later. Night Court looks good. Yeah, but it's missing everybody. Bull's not there. Harry's not there. Marky Post isn't there. Dan's there, but Trek or not, with that setting, you could do an intro to a TV show or movie. The Man in the Chair intro trope. Welcome to Mystery Science Theater. Shouldn't say that. Copyright. Welcome to Mystery Theater. Tonight, we have for you a collection of Sherlock Holmes stories, starting with The Hound of the Baskervilles. Anyway, Peter Lukaku, $5. I would love a Cheers comeback. New Sam Malone. Cheers is a good show. I watched the first episode of New Quantum Leap, and there was a dude dressed as a matador with eyeshadow on, kind of like Prince, talking about his feelings, and I was done. Apparently, they'll explain it in episode 3 of the new Night Court why Dan is no longer a perpetually horny womanizer. Ah, I see. I'm just stretching because I'm old. Sorry. Saw something about Amazon asking the Expanse creators for help with the new Stargate series. Ooh, interesting. DS9 isn't just about Cardassians, Tarek Noor, and Bajoran. It's an anthology. It's an analogy to the British occupation of India, of which no one argues, and the Dominion War holds a lot of parallels to World War II. The Cardassians and the Bajorans, very much the Nazis and the Jews. Lots of, yes. That's why it works so well, because truth is stranger than fiction. So using true storylines, but putting a sci-fi spin on them, makes for some great storytelling. So I think that's one of the reasons that DS9 was so successful. Small Wonder needs to... I remember Small Wonder. That'd be pretty good now, actually. As long as we don't get a holodeck comeback. Once it leaves my body, I want nothing to do with it. Listen, if I want any kind of comeback from you, I'd scrape the roof of your mouth. Peter Lukaku, $1. Thank you, Peter. Lysander. Anyone remember Sliders? It kind of reminds me of the Iconian Gateway, except hyperdimensional. Everyone remembers Sliders. System 47 is here. Oof, I still remember how exciting it was back then when TNG and DS9 were both on the air. Looking at what we have now, I hope oversaturation won't be an issue. I don't think it will be. There's enough variations in the shows now. There's something for everyone, animation, humor, whatever, to keep everybody interested, I think. Bajorans were based on the Bosnians. It's also very true. And I should know, Sylvia's told me about that. She is Croatian, so that whole incident. But still, a lot of the storylines in the Dominion War are very World War II related as well. So my least favorite DS9 is probably Meridian, even though it gave us Jeffrey Combs' Move Along Home isn't actually that bad. You're the second person to say that this evening. A V sequel, not another reboot, might work and follow up the invasion of Earth in the 1980s. Are they still here? Did humankind eventually run the visitors off? And is the war continuing? The creator of Sliders are working on something, I believe. Ooh, is it a sandwich? Because I'd work on a sandwich. Was watching James Garner's 1981 show Brett Maverick with Ira Stephen Bear as writer for an episode. Ooh. When DS9 and Voyager ran together, we got 52 episodes a year. Now we get 40. Now only get 47 with multiple shows. Exactly. Croatia just joined the EU, the closest thing Earth has to the Federation. Yeah. Grant McGregor, $10. If one has the time, I do recommend watching DS9 and Babylon 5 back to back. They're mostly friendly competition, complementing each other's writing. Wish we had that today. Yeah, they are very similar. So, Sarek, hi. It's my favorite Trek, but the Mirror Universe always seems so weak from what they portrayed. Squadron Course, I really didn't expect Prodigy on top, or to top Lower Decks for me, but it did. I know, right? Didn't know what to expect with Prodigy coming out, and did not think it would be our favorite Trek of the year. It absolutely was. What was the name of the DS9 episode where the Cardassian yeoman lied about who he was to get sentenced for war crimes? Don't know. Is that Duet? Duet. Peter Lukaku, $10. If you had a bar you walked into and everything cheered Captain. Woody asks, "What's the story today?" What's your response? So I walk in and, "Captain, what's the story today?" I don't know. I'm not as clever as Norm. Trying a big old blank on that one. Don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry to let you down, Peter. I have no idea what I would say. I always love Norm's little retorts, though, or his comments when that happens. What's up today, Mr. Peterson? Sorry, I got nothing. I don't have anything clever. I'm not a clever man, you see. To be fair, the only Great Mirror Universe episode after TOS was DS9's crossover, where the two Enterprise ones are the two Enterprise ones. Most DS9 and all Discovery ones are overrated or just bad. The tired has me. But now looking at the super chat total, and honestly, $32 away from a perfect number, our actual minimum during our lives, which are usually at 4 p.m. So, and look who just showed up, Mr. Matt Boardman. Hello! Hello, Governor! I've already extolled your virtues, Matt, saying that you were the one that created the thumbnail for this live, so thank you for showing up. I'm sure the actors had fun playing the Mirror Universe characters, but especially in DS9, they were so over the top as to be unbelievable. Duet is definitely top 5 DS9, and it's early season 1. No one ever talks about it. Everybody talks about it, Sean. What are you fucking talking about? Every time there's a discussion about Deep Space Nine, it's like, Duet's a really good episode. Duet. It's like, Duet. Yeah. If you're from Canada and watch Mr. Dress Up, you'd understand the Duet thing. But anyway, Duet is not one of my favorites. I understand why a lot of people would put it up there, but you're right. It's a real standout in season 1 of DS9 for sure because it's fantastic. But it's not for me, unfortunately. So still recovering from the holidays, or I would donate. No problem, Jeff. I totally understand that. Squadron Course, $1. The Doctor, what is up? And Matt Borman, thank you for the chance to do the thumbnail. Absolutely. I was going to whip one together, and it would have been subpar, and so I thought you mentioned you wanted to do something like that occasionally, so I thought, hey, so thank you. I very much appreciate it. And it's fantastic, by the way. So, Captain, do you think they could have made a successful Quark series like Cheers? No, no, they couldn't have. I mean, maybe as. I mean, they could have, but no, they couldn't have at the same time. I don't know. That's weird, but. I just got out of the screening for Megan, or Megan, or whatever. Well, Matt, we were talking about that earlier. This is the first time hearing about this fucking thing, so hopefully it was good. In a Mirror Darkly is one of my all-time favorite episodes. I wish they got a full 7-season treatment. I don't like duet. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. That's exactly right, Sean. The Negus is a solid season 1 episode. We get to see Rom plotting to murder his brother, and Quark actually being proud of his brother. It's kind of hard to find a favorite episode in a soap. Wow. Happy 30th, Niners. Good tea, nice house, $10. For the Mr. Dress-Up reference, Casey and Finnegan forever. Yes, and the tickle trunk. Good tea, nice house. I forgot you were from Canada. But yeah. Do-it-do-bee, a fucking owl on the wall. Anyway, earlier I heard people saying that seasons 1 and 2 of DS9 struggled. You have to remember that TNG suffered the same way. The pilot episodes for both were great. It fell off a bit. Got to get your feet wet. Exactly, yeah. I like Far Beyond the Stars. Not sure if it's been mentioned. Oh, it hasn't been. Far Beyond the Stars, a fantastic episode. Yes, definitely in my top 5. Also, Second Skin. Second Skin. Which episode is Second Skin? Sean Sullivan, maybe not a series, but an episode revolving around Quark's Bar would be... Oh, an episode, yes, great. Grant McGregor, if you're still online, I'll be back. I drove almost 600 miles today for working. In the last 24, I'm sunburned and want some takeout. Go take care of yourself, Grant. I probably won't be here when you get back, but I would drive 500 miles. I mean, 600 miles, I guess. After rewatching TNG Measure of a Man, I had an impression they were trying a possible spin-off. Peter Lukaku, $20. Best norm response in Cheers is what's Morn having at Quarks? I'll have that. Please tell me that he actually said that. I have a distinct feeling he didn't, because I think Cheers was earlier than DS9. But that would have been epic. Squadron Course, $1. I was going to say 20 to go, but Peter got us there. Yes, he did. My favorite Norm comeback, it's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear. P.S. Didn't mean to snipe you. It was an accident. I swear it was. Second is Kira as a Cardassian. Kira-centric episode. Still a pretty good episode. Far Beyond the Stars dared to tackle social issues no Trek has done before. So good. Second Skin, they tried to convince Kira she was really a Cardassian sleeper agent. Yes, that was a very good episode, but what did you think about Quark not becoming Grand Negus and they gave it to Rom instead? I thought that was brilliant, actually. Are you a Blood or Crip? Well, I can't answer that question because it'll get me killed. Are they still even a fucking thing? That is so 80s. Measure of a Man, they forgot. They found Soong's lab, Android parts, and research just the year before. Right? Hit like if you haven't, by the way. We're 17 likes away from 100. But I'm running long, so I'm going to probably wind this down now. All the cool people came in at the end. I'm just kidding. To everyone that was here before that. I'm just kidding. But Dionysus. yeah. So anyway, I think I'm gonna call it quits there. But this has been a good discussion. Don't worry, me and Samuel will be doing one of these lives probably this week, talking about the 30th anniversary of DS9, where we can have some visuals and have some better back and forth discussion. Um, so hopefully you guys will join us for that. It'll be at the regular time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just keep your eye out for that. Make sure you click the notification bell icon, hit the subscribe button. You know all the things to do. And if you actually get the chance to hit like, and you haven't hit like yet, please do so. Um, if you're watching this after the fact, if you want to send a super thanks on the video, that would be very helpful as well. Remember when Voyager thought it was a good idea to have knockout Klingons based on the street gangs? Pepperidge Farms remembers. I'm so old and good pronunciation of my name. Right on, Captain. Thank you for all the calls. No problem. Keep going. DS9 deserves at least a 4 hours. It does, but then I should have started earlier. I'm tempted to, but I really shouldn't. Captain, other than the year you have, what year Camaro would you like to have? A 69? 69 Camaro is pretty great. Or a 73? The one with the split chrome bumper at the front. I guess it's 73. And that's the full chrome bumper. I can't remember now. The split chrome bumper at the front with the round taillights. Like those ones. But anyway. What do you mean, a 9-hour stream? Well, no, it's the 30th anniversary of DS9. It should be a 30-hour stream. Bitch. They all suck due to pollution controls, all the second generation Camaros. That's a discussion for another day. I would like to go longer, but if I could be guaranteed another, like some really good super chats, I would continue going, but I need to plan for a 48-hour stream, Peter, so not today. But this has been fun. You guys are great, as always, and I appreciate all your time and listening to me ramble and mumble and come off like an idiot. So I appreciate all that you guys do, and thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a good night, and I will talk to you later. This is Captain Foley, signing off. Bye, everybody.